All right, guys, it's Tuesday, the 12th of November, 2024. It is 8:15 a.m. here in Germany. This is the Insanity Report for today. So, look, I think I don't see any way for the Democrats to come back from this. I don't see any way for the left to come back in all of the Western countries where they're being voted out of their offices, voted out of their seats, voted out of their parliaments, basically sweepingly. You know, every Western country, the citizenry is moving more towards the center, and the politicians are moving more towards the left, and they are what I call the establishment, right? And of course there's Republicans and right-wing politicians that are part of the establishment. Absolutely. They want the status quo to continue. That's why this is not a right versus left thing anymore. This is the people versus the establishment. The people against tyranny. The people against government overreach. The people against insane ideology running the show. It is completely unacceptable to the people, and that's what the Donald Trump election has shown. That's why the people here in Germany, the establishment is so worried. I mean, they were already worried because they were seeing their poll numbers going completely in the shitter already this last whole year, and they know that they're going to be voted out of office. Now, that doesn't mean that in Germany the right is going to win, right? It's just going to be another mashup of different establishment parties, and the more left-wing green ones are going to be excluded, while the ones that are supposedly centrist are going to now run the show. But they're not centrist. They're the rhinos. They're the establishment. So the public has spoken such a grievous no to wokeism, establishment politics, the status quo, the left. And the left and the Democrats in America embody that establishment. They don't know how to do anything else. They've only won elections through being able to gaslight people, having the media under their control, having the experts captured, and feeding the people a whole bunch of bullshit that they have basically believed all of these years. And now with the internet, you know, and the vast array of independent media that's out there, people are starting to realize they have been being lied to all along by the left and the Democrats, because their policies just don't work. You know, you have to base policies on reality, and these people are ideologically captured, and so they ignore reality willfully, and they will do so until it is no longer possible, right? And even now, with this heinous kick in the ass they received, they are not going to change course anytime real soon, right? I don't think that they're going to do that, and that's why I think for them there is no way back, right? And now we see they must be shaking in their boots as we see the Trump picks come in every day, every couple of hours. Bam, new pick for the Department of Homeland Security, for the FDA, for the CDC, they are coming out with picks and picks and picks, and all of them are non-establishment people. I mean, the Homan dude for the border czar, oh man, he was there before. The left hate this guy. The Democrats hate him. And illegal aliens hate him. That's who we need, right? It's glorious. They are shaking in their boots. They know it is time that the right is finally looking like it's going to take the gloves off. And now they've got to get ready to take the beating, because that's how it works. You know, you can only push around a citizenry so long before even the, you know, status quo politicians get in line and say, all right, that's enough. We're going to have to make some changes, right? And that's what it looks like is happening. All of us were worried. I've said this over and over again the last week. All of us were worried when we hear all this talk about unity and pardoning Hunter Biden and blah, blah, blah. Look, I don't care if you pardon Hunter Biden. Go for it. You know what I'm saying? He's not the one we really need. He's basically, since his dad is now gone, he is irrelevant in politics in America, will have nothing to decide over the people of America, and just, I don't care if you pardon him, but the unity talk and the pardoning talk has made some of us worried that, okay, we're going to have the same thing as last time, where it's a whole bunch of rhetoric about draining the swamp, but when it comes down to draining the swamp, we don't do it. We just hire the swamp back into office. And that is not happening this time at all. At all. Susie Wiles as Secretary of State? I forgot what title she's getting, but Homan, I'm sure Kash Patel is going to get somewhere in there. The people he's picked right now, this lawyer, I don't know if you saw this lawyer, I've said it in a couple of videos, but this one lawyer was on TV, like broadcast television, and said out into the camera that if Letitia James continues this lawfare on Trump, that our side is taking the gloves off, we're not playing anymore, and we will put your fat ass in prison. That's the kind of talk I like to hear, right? Really. And most of us are waiting for that. And that's what we're getting, because these Trump picks are amazing. Not only that, so basically the Democrats are just screwed. You know what I mean? They're screwed. They don't have the House, they don't have the Senate, they don't have the presidency. They're basically neutered. And on top of that, they're not going to change course. They're going to continue the bullshit rhetoric. They're going to continue blaming everything else except for themselves for their historical, unbelievable loss, unbelievable ass whipping that they got on election night. You know, they are going to be pointing the finger at everything except them. They're going to still try some stuff, you know, probably to make sure Donald Trump doesn't get in. I don't think any of that shit's going to work, right? We were all expecting massive protests from the left. None of that shit has happened either. And it's why, and the reason why, like I said, when I was asked this question, I did a Q&A about it. I said I thought that the left probably wouldn't come out and protest en masse because they're going to be worried about repercussions. Because this time it's not Kamala Harris funding their bail and Soros, the DAs, letting them out even though they committed crimes. This time it's a Trump administration with people who mean fucking business. And so they're not going to do it, and they haven't. And I don't think they're going to either, because they're too afraid. You see, they are pussies at heart. They're all soy boy pussies, the left, right? These soy cracker eating, whiny little bitches that cry on TikTok because the president of choice was not put in office. You know, those people are not warriors. They're not people that are willing to take true risk. So their protests are over. That's what I think, right? And then on top of it all, we have James O'Keefe, who has once again done great work. He's going to be a household name after this coming year, even though people know who he is, but a lot of people still don't. But he is one of the best investigative undercover journalists that's out there, and he's also empowering regular people to also become undercover journalists, and people are uncovering a whole bunch of stuff. One of those things is that the Democratic organization Act Blue, which is an organization that collects donations for Democrats. Now, in my opinion, there's always been questions about this Act Blue, and I'm wondering why Congress or, you know, Republican district attorneys or somebody didn't investigate this shit sooner. But they didn't, because again, most of the people that were in office up till now have been status quo, go along, get along, let's not rock the boat people, right? Or they've been outright corrupt and part of the scheme. So, of course, there was going to be no real investigation on Act Blue, but James O'Keefe sent people to knock on doors of the people that supposedly donated to Act Blue, right? And showed them the amount of their supposed donation, right? And most of the people that they stopped by, most of the people that they picked out, either said they didn't donate at all, or they didn't donate near as much money as was put on that list. So, what does that mean? That means that the Democrats are laundering money through this Act Blue organization, right? If there are even two people on that list whose donor amounts don't match what they donated, or they didn't donate at all, that is fraud, right? So the left, who's all worried about Donald Trump's misfiled tax report over the Stormy Daniels, whatever, misdemeanor bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They're worried about that, while Act Blue is committing major fraud, according to what James O'Keefe has uncovered with his OMG Media Group. Now, we're going to see what's going to come out of this, you know what I mean? But I have no doubt that it will be investigated if this is true. If they can deliver this proof to the right people, that is going to be investigated, the Democrats are going to be uncovered, and it's going to be the end for them. It's going to be the end. I mean, it's already the end. That's just going to be the final nail in the coffin, right? Now, all of this doesn't mean that we now get to sit back. I keep saying this over and over again. I said it before Trump got elected, and I'm going to say it again. We can't sit back and just be like, okay, we can be back in chill mode, back to smoking bongs and watching, you know, fucking Comedy Central or Adult Swim or whatever the fuck it is at midnight. No. And now we have been at the brink of losing freedom as we know it in America and a lot of these other countries as well, right? Here in Germany, we're getting closer to it every day, right? Except for the fact that we can still leave. So, like I always say, if it gets to be too bad, I'll just pack and fuck off. I'm not going to have to live here. I don't have to stay here, right? I can live anywhere. And so I'll just leave. I don't have to stay here and put up with Germany's bullshit. But right now it looks like there's going to be at least a slight change in the constellation of the government. So we'll see what happens there. But look, as far as the Democrats in the United States are concerned, I don't see any off-ramp for them, right? They're done. They're done. Especially if the Trump team is able to set policy the way they want. That's going to benefit the regular Americans so much that most of the people out there, most of the regular citizens, are going to wake up to a brand new day and say, hey, this day is better than yesterday, and from now on I'd like to have this kind of day. And why would they ever vote for Democrats again now that they've been revealed to be absolute liars about everything? That none of their policies work or are good. You know what I mean? They don't have the best interests of their voters at heart, and they throw their own people under the bus like they're nothing. I mean, poor Joe Biden. Poor fucking Joe Biden. You know? That bastard has been a bitch to the Democratic Party. When the Democratic Party says suck, he says how hard. Right? And he's done it. He's been a foot soldier for the Democratic Party his whole career. Since he was like the youngest politician in Congress at the time or something. Or in the Senate or something like that. Anyway, this dude has sold his ass to the Democratic Party. And what do? First, they exclude him so Hillary can run, even though he was going to run. They told him to stand down. They treated him like the redheaded stepchild of the Democratic Party. Then, now they fucking basically use him as a senile puppet to carry out all these crazy, insane left-wing ideas, which then turned against him. And then when he was no longer useful, they basically chewed him up and spit his ass out and told him to stay the fuck away from the party. Now, I bet Joe Biden is the happiest motherfucker in the world right now that Donald Trump became president. Why would his wife wear red, on election night? That's a clear sign, people. Sorry. That's a clear sign to the blue team that I'm now on the red team and fuck you people. You know what I mean? And maybe she's really not on the red team. I don't think she is. But she did it to rub salt in these people's wounds. You know what I mean? And I bet Joe Biden, if he knows what's going on at all, is chuckling the fuck out in his insides. You know what I'm saying? He's chuckling his ass off. He's really. But so these people are horrible. Right? They're horrible. They're going to get caught with a giant fraud screen with a scandal with this Act Blue thing. Their policies suck total shit. All of the Trump picks are people that are anti-establishment, anti-status quo, anti-leftist insanity, anti-woke, anti-establishment. We couldn't have it any better. But we have to now remain very vigilant, people. We have to now pay attention to what our elected officials are doing. Keep an eye on what they're going to do, what they're voting for, what their direction is. And the minute they step out of line of America first and policies that benefit America, they have to go. That's what you got to be paying attention to. We've got to start being more active participants in the democratic process if we want to retain a democratic system, right? And I know that people in the States always say, well, it's not a democracy, goddammit, it's a goddamn republic, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But really, let's be real clear, it's a democratic republic. It is a representative democracy because it still functions like a democracy where the representatives vote and the majority gets the deal, right? That's the way it works. Instead of the people voting on everything, the representatives vote on everything. It's still a democracy. It's still a form of democracy. And if you want to retain that in any way, shape, or form, then you're going to have to be a participant in it. That's all there is to it, right? That's all there is to it. You're going to have to be. There's no other way. So I hope that that's the lesson that people took from this. And I hope that people are now even more motivated to stand up for their own values, to stand up for what they think. Because you see now, after this election in the United States, you see you are the majority. And so there's no reason to hide. There's no reason to be afraid. You stand up, stand proud, speak out, speak loud, right? And don't give a fuck what these leftists and the Democrats and these people that claim to be your friends and all that shit think about what you think. You know what I mean? Don't change your opinion. Don't hide. Don't be scared. You can now stand tall and proud because you've learned you are in the majority after the election of Donald Trump. You know you are the majority, people. And that's a great thing. That is, I am elated that Donald Trump got elected, but we are far from being out of this mess. Like I said, only the brakes have been pulled on the train of lunacy. And the train of lunacy right now is standing still, which is better than the direction it was moving before. But we've got to turn it around. We've got to start moving in the other direction. And that's what's going to start happening, at least in America. And I hope that some of that, kind of waves over here to Germany and Europe because we need it. And I think the people actually want it. They're just still too cowardly to vote for the right people. Although I think that even now we've got a lot of secret right-wing voters as we speak. That number's getting bigger. So, anyway, great picks for Donald Trump. Let's keep this momentum going. Fantastic news. It has alleviated my worries about the unity thing. I think there will be some unity, but I think it's going to come after the accountability, which is the way it should work. So, there we go, guys. That was the Insanity Report for today. Listen, if you want to get my content all in your inbox, delivered to you directly as soon as it's published, whether it's one of my articles, whether it's a video, the Insanity Report, the rant, the podcast recommendations I do, or the What Is Your Representative Voting For episodes I do every week, then you have to just subscribe to my Substack. You can do it below. You can do it for free. You can also do it for $5 a month, which I would greatly appreciate. I would appreciate that highly. You can do that here below. The links are down there. Go ahead and do that as soon as you're done listening to the video. And if you're watching this somewhere else, like on Rumble or YouTube or TikTok or Twitter or whatever, then go ahead and follow me there. But in the end, go to it'sallaboutlogic.substack.com. That's it'sallaboutlogic.substack.com and subscribe there, because that's the way you get all my content centrally delivered to you, and you can pick and choose what you want to watch, read, or listen to. You don't have to wait for a notification that will never come because I'm being throttled by some left-wing social media company. That's the best way to go. Guys, it was great. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Stay in elated mode, but stay vigilant. We'll see you guys tomorrow.